With these outline questions, the most important thing is that you understand the question. They're giving you a specific instruction, a specific piece of information to find, so make sure you understand it. What do they say here? The student wants to make a generalization about the kind of study conducted by Glickman, Brown, and Song. So a generalization about this study by these three people. So if it's not about any of those things, I don't care about the bullet point. And so that brings me to the first bullet point here. British musicians John Lennon and Paul McCartney shared writing credit for numerous Beatles songs. Not a generalization, not about these people, not about a study, completely irrelevant. Many Lennon and McCartney songs were actually written by either Lennon or McCartney, not by both. Don't care. The exact authorship of specific parts of many Beatles songs, such as the verse for In My Life, is disputed. Don't care. Not about the study. Mark Glickman, Jason Brown, and Ryan Song, looks good, used statistical methods to analyze the musical content of Beatles songs. Okay, so that might matter, right? It's about those people. They're using statistics to analyze music. They concluded that there is 18.9% probability that McCartney wrote the verse for In My Life, stating that the verse is consistent with Lennon's songwriting style. Well, is that really a generalization? Right? A generalization means that we're just kind of talking about it overall, and this choice sounds like a specific example, not a generalization. So maybe it's related in terms of helping us understand the study, but it is not probably going to be a big part of my answer choice. So let's take a look. Based on statistical analysis, Glickman, Brown, and Song claim that John Lennon wrote the verse of In My Life. Okay, maybe it's definitely about them. It's talking about the study. It doesn't feel like a generalization, though, so that part bothers me. This feels like a specific example, so I don't know yet. It could be right. Choice B, there is only an 18.9% probability that Paul McCartney wrote the verse for In My Life. John Lennon is the more likely author. This is the conclusion, but it is not about the study in a more general way. It is not about the people. This is just definitely wrong. C, it is likely that John Lennon, not Paul McCartney, wrote the verse for In My Life. Well, that doesn't even bother to say why we would think that, and that's the point, right? The study is the reason we might think that, so that's got to be incorporated. Choice D, researchers have used statistical methods to address questions of authorship within the field of music. This is definitely a generalization. Notice how it doesn't mention the Beatles at all, because they were a specific example of how this kind of study works, but the question wanted a general summary, right? So notice it strays very far from the bullet points, but that doesn't bother me because I knew it would. That's what the question was asking for. I'm a little bothered by the fact that it doesn't mention these people's names, right? Glickman, Brown, and Song, but it does the next best thing by just saying researchers, right? So it's kind of including them. More importantly, remember what the question wanted. It wanted a generalization about the kind of study that these people conducted. So choice D kind of lets us say that maybe other people, lots of researchers, besides these three, are also conducting these similar studies, right? So we're much more focused on the study, not on the people. D is definitely better than A. It is the correct answer. And notice how much work that one word, generalization, did in this question. This is the real skill here, is being able to know what they're asking for, what they want from you, and words need to pop, right? Words need to pop out of these questions and stand out as important. Generalization, this is going to be a weird thing I'm about to say, generalization is a very specific thing that they're asking for. It's a weird word. It has a specific meaning. It has a lot of power. It's a strong word, and so I paid a lot of attention to it, and sure enough, that's how I got the right answer.